are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm not bad. Yeah, just keeping myself busy, keeping active. Like, as I said to a lot of people, I did not think it would be this long, the whole
Oh,
lockdown
I
thing.
know.
When it started, I thought it would be just March, end of March, and a bit of April. That'll be it. And now it's gone to the point where I'm like, what do we do? What do we do? You know?
Legit. Do you know what? They put us in lockdown the night before my birthday.
Oh
How
wow,
savage is that? Like
that's bad luck. That's
fuming.
bad luck right there.
Honestly, I was fuming. But yeah,
I,
it feels forever, doesn't it? And like,
it feels like 5, 6 months. It feels like the whole year we've been on lockdown.
I know, and I can't believe that. Like, is it like next week we're in June already?
Yeah,
Oh,
half
I
the
hate
year's gone.
pineapples.
Like half the year's gone. It's crazy.
I know, half the year in lockdown as well. Like
Not even
that's
half a
mad.
year. If it was January to now, then.
Can you
But did you
imagine?
see that? Did you see that China's got the second wave? So they're gone back into lockdown.
Oh no. I did see
So
somewhere
that's
as well that they opened some clubs somewhere in it and then loads of people caught the virus again, so they shut the clubs down
in
again.
yeah, in South Korea. This guy went there and infected 108 or 100 and something people in the club. So
Mad.
for sure, clubs aren't gonna open. But no one knows what's happening. No one knows.
It's just like, you know, when you're just like missing something and there's nothing that you can do about it. Like obviously like doing lives and stuff is cool, but it's just not the
It's
same
not a
as
real thing.
being
It's
in a
not a real
club.
thing.
Like I was meant to be playing at a festival this weekend as well.
Oh, okay. Which
So I'm
festival?
literally like Love Saves the Day in Bristol.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've literally wanted to play at that festival for like years. I was so hyped, and now I'm like, okay, I'll just sit at home. But yeah, man, it is what it is, isn't it? We
So
can't do anything
how you
about
been keeping busy during quarantine?
it. Do you know what? I'm still working, so for me, it's not that different. Like,
Yeah,
obviously, I can't DJ, which is rubbish, but
but at
I'm
least you're
still
still getting
doing my
paid.
normal. Yeah, which, like, do you know what? I'm counting my blessings because I'm so lucky in the sense that I can still work.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I sit there and I'm like, oh, I wish I wasn't working. But
So do you think it's been a good fit? Because a lot of DJs just quit their normal job and went straight into DJing and just left it. So do you think that's been a good thing for you to do that, or would you wanted to have left your job
you know,
earlier and
do
taken
you know
DJing
what's
more?
mad is like I was considering leaving my job, and like
Yeah.
everyone was like, why didn't you just go for it? Like take the plunge, like do that. But like I've just bought a house, so I was like, I can't risk not being able to pay the mortgage,
Yeah.
and like, do you know what I mean? Like not have
Mm.
that kind of solid income. And obviously, where I live in Bath, like and Bristol, the work here is like different than if I was in London.
Yeah.
So like as much as I get to play every weekend and I'm literally blessed with that, like it it's not guaranteed.
Mm.
So it's a bit like I don't know, it's like I always want to just like sack off my job and go for it, but at the same time it works how I'm doing it at the moment. Like I get like I take my annual leave to go and DJ places. Like
Yeah.
it's mad. Like over the summer, like I'll take like a week's leave and literally go DJ Ibiza or wherever, come back, and then go straight back into work the next day. Like it's crazy, but it's working at
It
the
must be
moment.
tiring though. Like you probably
Oh,
needed not even like it's not really been a break, but a breakish.
do you know what I mean? I had a week off last week,
Yeah.
but I spent the whole week like recording mixes for radio, planning mixes and stuff like that. So it wasn't even like time off from my other job because I'm always
Mm.
thinking about what I can do for DJing. So it's like it is proper tiring.
So
Like
I was saying to
especially
Carmen before, like, do you think after quarantine, even though the clubs weren't open, do you think you're going to be going to these clubs and doing the live sets there and streaming it?
oh that's quite a good
Like,
shout actually. Like
but like, do you think you would do that though?
yeah, man. Like any opportunity to like do anything like that, I'm up for. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I've been speaking to some of the local clubs here to try and get them to do some lives and stuff because I don't know, like some people are on it, some people are not. Obviously I've been doing my own lives, but
hmm
it would be cool to get like the local venues like on it as well. So
yeah.
we'll have to see if they're up for it.
So for you, how did DJing start for you, and how did everything progress to where you are now?
It's actually mad. Like, I was working in clubs while I was at uni.
Yeah.
And one of my good friends at the time, he's a sick DJ. Like, I looked up to him so much, and I just kept pestering him, like, can you teach me? Can you teach me? And then eventually, I think he just got bored of me pestering him. And he was like, yeah, for sure. Like, so I spent like every Saturday night,
Yeah,
before he was going out to work, like, just practicing. And then I bought, like, you know, those tiny little controllers, like a new Mark Pro, I think it was. Bought one of them, bought my MacBook, and was just like messing about. And then I think, yeah, I put out monthly mixes, and God, I was listening back to them the other day, and they were shocking. But just putting out like loads of mixes and stuff. And then I was really lucky in the sense that I won a DJ competition with Kids.
Yeah.
And that kind of got me in with more people to get more bookings. Like, I was DJing with them 3 different sets, and then obviously I started doing my history stuff, and then the history stuff went over to Ibiza, so then I got to meet the DJs in Ibiza. So it's just kind of been like networking in that, really.
Networking in that.
Like that to me has been like the key, is just like go into events as well. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I can't expect people to book me to play events if I'm not actually going to these events. Like,
so for you, has it kind of been easy? Like, even though Carmen was saying, I wouldn't say female DJ, male DJ, but as a female DJ, has it been easy for you, or has it been tough times as well?
I wouldn't say it's easy. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then, like, a lot of the time, especially at the moment, you go through times where it's like you just want to give up.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's so much around social media and having this right image and like having enough followers and things like that. And I feel like, especially at the moment, there's so much emphasis on that. And sometimes it can make you feel like you're not a good enough DJ just based on that, when actually, like, you could be the sickest DJ, but if you don't have enough followers, or you don't have the right image or something like that, then you're not getting those bookings, or you're not getting that recognition, and that can be quite, like, disheartening sometimes. I think I am quite lucky here because I've got a good network of like DJ friends that we all kind of look out for each other. So like, if a booking comes up, they'll always shout me and things like that. But I do reckon, like, I was listening to Carmen actually, and she was like saying how it is difficult for female DJs, and how people almost expect you to not be able to do as good a job. And like, I've fully had that before, where people are like, oh, I wasn't expecting you to do that. And it's like, why? Like, just because I'm not a male DJ doesn't mean I can't do what you're doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I'd agree with her on that. It's, like, it can be tough.
Do you think it's been like easier for you to get gigs in Bristol? Like, let's say if you were in London, do you think you could get the same gigs you got because you're in Bristol, or does it not matter in terms of city wise?
Do you know, I think it is easier out of London. Like, I think there's so much competition in London, and there's so many sick DJs, like, so many, and everyone wants to do their thing, and like, there's only so many gigs out there, do you know what I mean, like, that people can do. So I think I'm quite lucky in that sense. But like, I've got a group of girls in London that I chat to like all the time, like, we all support each other, and they're killing it, man. So like, I don't know, like, you could go there and kill it, or you could, it depends what work you put in. Do you know what I mean? I strongly believe, like, the work you put in is what you get out. Like, if you're out there networking, going to events, showing your face, things like that, then you're more likely to kind of get to know the right people and stuff like that. But if you're just sat at home not really engaging, then it's a bit more difficult.
How many years did it take you, or how many months did it take you to get to your first clubbing gig?
Oh, I think it was like 6 months.
That's pretty
cool. You know, my first residency was in Revs, and oh my god, I learned so much from that, because it's like, it's the most commercial set that you have to do. Yeah. Like, you're going from like hen do's to like young people to stag do's to the older people, like, and you've got to literally keep up with that crowd. So I did that for a year, and then I was like, I can't do this anymore. 6-hour set every Friday night. Like, it was tough.
So
But
you
I
know what?
learned a
Like,
lot from
do you prefer like the shorter sets, or do you prefer doing those kind of long 4 to 6 hour shifts kind of thing?
I prefer doing a longer set, but of like in like a club where I know the crowd are gonna like love the kind of music that I love. Do you know?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
as
yeah,
much
yeah.
as I love doing a longer set in revs, because you've got that chance to kind of work your way through the genres or whatever. Like some of the clubs I play at, where I can just smash out like an R&B, hip hop, Afro beats, that kind of set for 6 hours, is like sick.
What type of DJ would you say you are? Would you say you're more urban, or would you say multi-genre?
I'd say more urban, although I'm trying to, like, one of my girls hit me up the other day and asked me to do a house mix for her
Yeah,
radio show. So I'm trying to like expand a little bit, just like because I know I can mix that kind of music. It's just that doesn't really come up. Like a lot of the gigs I do are urban,
mm,
um, but obviously the more you can do, the more bookings that you're gonna
yeah.
get. So,
So
and I quite enjoy house.
you've done a lot
Like,
of radio sets as well, like guest mixes as well. So is that also a path for you to go into radio, or not really?
do you know what I'd love to? Um, like, I think that's one of the downfalls is obviously not being in London. There's not that many opportunities to do as much radio stuff.
Hmm.
Like, I'm really like I count my blessings that I've done those radio guest mix.
Yeah,
Like, I never thought like when I started out DJing, like my main goals was to DJ a festival, DJ abroad, and DJ on One Extra.
hmm,
So like to have been able to do 3 guest mixes within a year for One
yeah.
Extra is sick. Do you know what I mean? But and I'd love to get into radio, but I guess we'll just have to see. Like I'm a resident DJ on BBC Wiltshire, which is down here. So we'll just have to see. Like that's quite a new thing,
Hmm.
and like, I really enjoy it. So
So I'm gonna ask you this: do you think radio's dying out?
mm, I don't know. Like no, I don't think it is. I think I really like the fact that they're bringing in more DJs to do guest mixes and stuff like that. Like, I think that's really sick of radio stations. Like,
Hmm.
because before there wasn't that many opportunities to like showcase your work and
Yeah,
stuff like that on radio. But I think now, like, and you see people like setting up their own radio stations and things like that. Like, I think that's sick. Like, if you've got the time and the skills to do that, like, do you know what I mean? Because I think doing mixes and stuff is cool, but having like the chat and the engagement with people is like where it's at. Do you know what I mean?
in your
Like I
opinion, what?
enjoy
Sorry, yeah, Karen.
I enjoy hearing people like talk about music and their views on music and like just having a general chit chat as well as the mixes. So
So if you would you kind of consider moving to London, or just leave it in Bristol?
do you know what? A couple of years ago I was really contemplating it, but like I've bought my house down here, and I feel like I still get the opportunities in London that I'd want to do.
Yeah.
Like I'm quite happy to drive up to London and drive back in one night. Like I've done it so many times, and like I have no issue doing that. So I feel like I can go up there, come back, like live both worlds. Do you know what I mean? And my brother lives in London, so I can always go and stay with my bro.
Yeah.
Yes, Dent.
Yes,
What are you
then.
saying?
So in your opinion, what makes a good DJ?
Do you know what? So many people ask me this, and I'm like, music selection, obviously. Do you know, like, music selection and being able to read a crowd, I think, is like the main thing for me. If you're playing to yourself, and the crowd's just stood there like not enjoying it, then what's the point? Like, and I like. Obviously, I love like technical DJs. I'm not the best at like scratching and all of that. Like I'm practicing a lot because I admire like anyone that's got like technical ability. But I think like as long as you can read a crowd and your music selection's on point,
Yeah.
then I'm rating you.
So
Basically.
how long did it kind of take you to read the crowd? Did it come naturally for you, or was it more, it took you time to kind of gauge it?
I think that's one of the better things that I'm good at. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think I did learn that from being at refs.
Yeah.
Because I had to. Like, I couldn't play like hen party music the whole night. So I had to be able to read like when the hens were there, when the stag do was there, when the like my little urban corner was, like, do you know what I mean? So I think that proper helped me to be able to think like what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes, Keon.
What tips would you give to up and coming DJs in the scene trying to get gigs in clubs?
It's funny you say that because one of my friends messaged me yesterday and was like, Rach, how do you get all these bookings, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And I was like, to me, it's all about how you present yourself to people and like networking. Like if you're kind of engaging with people's posts, listening to mixes, like actually engaging with the venues and the people that work there and stuff like that, you're gonna have more of a chance. Like putting mixes out, promoting yourself,
Yeah.
but not coming across as like arrogant. Do you know what I mean? I think there's a fine line between being confident in your ability and coming across a bit too strong.
But do you agree that it's quite hard for these up and coming DJs to actually get into the clubs though?
Yeah, 100%. Like it's almost impossible sometimes. Like especially when there's like cliques within clubs and like certain DJs and stuff. I mean, like I try and if I'm like not doing a set or something, or if I get double booked or something, I'll always try and approach like another DJ that I think I'd want to play there, rather than just hitting up someone that I know gets booked every week.
Yeah.
But obviously not every DJ would do that. But I do think it's about like showing your face at venues. Like if someone's throwing an event, even if you go down there for an hour, talk to the promoter, like get yourself known with them and ask them for a warm-up set. Even if it's half an hour to an empty club, like that's something. Do you know what I mean?
It's better that you get two people dancing than nobody dancing.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I used to be so grateful just to play to an empty club, just to have my name on that flyer. Like,
yeah.
Because that to me was like such a big step. Whereas I think sometimes the expectation is, oh, I'm DJing, I need to go and play to a full club main set. And it's like, whoa, like, do you know what I mean? Sometimes
it's like baby steps.
Yeah, fully. And I think baby steps is the way forward. Like, there's no quick way to make it as a DJ.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there is. Like, you've got to go through some like rubbish times to get the good times as well. Like you've got to get knocked back by people. You've got to get like, it will make you doubt yourself all the time. But I guess it's just like persevering. But
so going with that as well, like obviously a lot of people just see the good things on the social media, but they don't actually see the work and kind of things going on behind the scenes. So what's been like kind of the worst kind of setbacks you've had?
I think like for me personally, I always like doubt myself as a DJ. So like I like tend to compare myself to people, and then I start like doubting myself and thinking like I'm not good enough, I'm not getting this booking, I'm not getting that and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think like I don't know, like when you like me and my friend Dre, he's a DJ, we were putting an event on and that all fell through with the venue and things like that. And I think that's such a setback in the sense that you put so much work in and so much effort, and sometimes it can feel a little bit like it's not getting anywhere. Or like even like doing a live video, there's so much pressure out there at the minute to get all the numbers and like have the most people viewing your live and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nah, don't let people fool you into that. As long as you're enjoying it and you're having a good time and you're showcasing what you're doing, that's the main thing. Like, do you know what I mean? Not looking at how many numbers are locked in or whatever. Like, I think there's so much pressure out there with social media and like faking it till you make it. I can't deal.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a lot of people, obviously for us, like we're following, I don't know, maybe 100 DJs or whatever. So we're seeing a lot of DJs and variety on lives and stuff. But some people may follow like 3 big DJs and that's it. So they're seeing 2,000 people on the live, and then they go to another DJ, like, or let's say like myself or you or whatever, and they're seeing maybe 20 people. They're like, oh, you rubbish. Like, you know, so
Literally.
I mean, obviously it's good to see, like, if you've got these big numbers, but again, which is what's proven to me as well, that you don't actually know who's watching. Like sometimes I don't check who's watching, so I just see like if I do check, I check, but you don't even know. Someone could be like the head of an events team or whatever.
Yeah, fully. Like, but even then, it's just like do you innit? Like, don't even worry about the numbers. Just like keep at it. Although I must say, when I'm doing a live and I see like some of the DJs that I properly look up to,
Yeah,
are watching me, I'm like, oh.
Do you find yourself do that? Like if you're on a set with a big DJs on the lineup, do you kind of get a bit nervous with that and try and
100%, yeah. Like, so I've got booked twice to go and play in Jaloo in Newcastle, New York.
Yeah.
And their resident DJs are dope.
Yeah, Esky,
like
Joe
they
Sensation,
are,
like
yeah, like they're sick. Like, and I was playing an event with Joe, and his scratching, I was stood there and I was having a meltdown, and I was like, I can't do that, and I'm going on after him, like that is. And I was saying to John, like the guy that booked me, and he was like, Rach, calm, like we booked you because you're you, not because you're Joe. And like and like I was playing with Cue Ball as well, and like they're all mad, like the sickest DJs, and I was literally feeling sick. I was like, I can't do this. Like, why would they book me compared to these guys? Like, so I do get proper nervous, like especially things like that, and like history events, like festivals, anything like that. I'm like proper hanging out.
Yeah, I saw you did history. So like, how was that?
Yeah, do you know what? I love playing history music. Like, it's one of my favorite like things ever to play. Like, old school is my jam. And the history DJs are like so nice. All of them are like so welcoming, such a nice vibe. So yeah, I proper love doing that. But I'm a bit gutted because I was meant to be doing history on the Common this year, and I don't think it's going to be happening now.
Yeah, I don't think so. I was talking to Nathan Dorr about it as well, and I was saying, well, he was actually saying, when are we actually going to see 80,000 people at a festival or in a stadium or whatever? Don't know when that's going to happen.
Legit. Do you know, like, I'm thinking when they open in a club, and like some of the clubs are only what, like 500 capacity. We're talking about a festival, like you said, like 80,000 people. Like mad.
If 2-3 people have COVID, that's you know you know how many thousands you're infecting.
Like, it's actually like when you think about it, it's actually quite scary. Like that the potential is there for that to just spread like next level. Like
that's the thing. In your opinion, when do you think is actually the clubs are gonna come back?
Me and my friend were talking about this, and we were like, maybe Christmas. Maybe.
That's going to be the worst timing though, because that means everyone will be out.
And it's so busy at Christmas. Like, and the thing is, like, you can't social distance in a club. I don't care what anyone says. Like, people are drunk, they're falling all over each other. You've got like all the little 18-year-olds that have just come out, like all snogging each other. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not possible to do. So, like, I think they're going to be like one of the last things that reopen, which is rubbish. But yeah, like you said, Christmas would be mad times to reopen.
If it does, I mean, it'll be good if it reopens, but I feel like they're gonna have to minimize the capacity there, and like maybe halve it or something like that. But that's gonna be bad for the clubs.
Can you imagine DJing to like
50 people, 100 people?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, man. Like, however they figure out how to do it, I think it's going to be different than what we know. For a little while anyway.
Definitely. So, in your opinion, is it easier for DJs to get started nowadays than before? And also, is it easier for them to get known than before?
I don't think so. I think nowadays there's a lot of there's loads of people that want to be a DJ in it, like, and like you can go and buy the equipment and you can go and like teach yourself or learn or whatever, but I think because there's so many people out there that want to be DJs and like don't necessarily do it for the right reasons as well, then it kind of doubles that, like everyone wants to do it, and then getting yourself out there can become like proper tough, like especially with social media and stuff like that, man. Like I think, like we were talking about earlier, the whole like fake it till you make it thing, it like it's kind of ruining the industry a little bit, because like the proper talented DJs, like, I know some DJs out there who are like so talented, and yet they've got like 1,500 followers, they're not getting a look in, and yet someone out there with like 20,000 followers because they've bought them is getting like mad bookings.
But do you think following is a thing though? Like follow as in, not as in following as in you're following, as in just followers in general on social media. Do you think that's a big thing?
I think at the moment, yeah, obviously, because we can't go and showcase what we're doing out in clubs.
Yeah.
So people are doing it through social media, and like, I don't know, there's such a big thing sometimes about following and things like that, and it's kind of taken away from the talent of DJs. Like, and I think that's where it's difficult, because you could be the most talented DJ, but like say you're really shy and you don't have much confidence and stuff like that, and you don't want to be on social media all the time, like how else are you going to get yourself out there at the moment?
There's no other way unless you're doing mixed club mixes, but then you still need to promote it. So
exactly. And like even with Mixcloud and stuff like that, like people have set people that they follow and stuff like that, and even that's tough to get listens on Mixcloud. Do you know what I mean? Like SoundCloud, all of it. Like, and you've got to be quite creative, I think. Like in the sense that
in this time, definitely you got to be creative because everyone's doing the same thing.
Yeah, and you don't want to be just like following the crowd, but at the same time, like how many urban DJs can do like different variety of mixes and stuff like that when there's not as much music coming out, maybe, or things like it's tough, man. It's proper tough.
The only way you're gonna kind of like use the variety kind of thing is just studying new genres, but then you run the risk if you're not gonna get any listens to that, or if you are.
And like you probably think is sick, but people that aren't like as into music, for instance, and haven't been introduced to that music yet, are probably gonna think, "What is this?" Like,
I'll give you an example to that as well. So, I DJ'd in Mexico 2 years ago, and that opened myself up to reggaeton, Latino music, and everything. So since then, I've actually taken a liking to that. But when I release a reggaeton mix, I get no plays basically because British people don't like to listen to things which aren't British, basically, or English sounding.
literally,
that's basically it.
And yet that kind of music is sick, but because they're not educated on it, then people don't want to know.
Definitely.
Which is really hard, and then you end up feeling like you've got to do stuff that people will listen to, but then you end up feeling like you're just doing the same as everyone else. So it's kind of like a catch-22 in it, like you can't really, vicious circle.
So what's been the highlight in your DJ career so far?
There's been a few, like doing my 1Xtra mixes is definitely up there.
Yeah.
I supported Neo on his tour, and I'm a proper Neo fan from like when I was growing up, so that was dope. Like that was crazy.
How did you get that?
He was doing a set in Bristol, like he was doing a concert in Bristol, and one of the guys I work with asked me to do it, and so I was like proper like gassed about that.
Yeah.
But oh my god, I was literally, my hands were like this. I was like, I can't. I was like, there's no way that I can do this. Like the whole place was full of people, and it was the first concert that I like warmed up for a act before, and I was like, nah. I was like, can't do it, and I literally was like almost sick before.
Yeah.
And then I warmed up for her. You know, the R&B singer from America. Yeah. She is like insane. Like that was crazy. Like that was like one of the best days of my life, I reckon, warming up for her. And then I warmed up for the internet at O2 Academy in Bristol as well. But again, that was like me on this stage with like a
Yeah.
spotlight, and the whole of the O2 Academy was like full of people, and I was just like, how am I here? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what the hell? Like, how is
You
this
must
even
have you
happening?
must have been deep in that while you were playing the tracks. You're like, how am I standing here?
Like crazy. And I had like my own dressing room. Like it was crazy. Like, so I think they're like the highlights really. And obviously like my history stuff, DJing abroad, like anything like that, I'm like proper grateful for. Like last year I got to go to Canada.
Yeah.
Which was mad. Like I went to Canada for 3 days, like literally 72 hours just to DJ and come back.
Wow.
So things like that I'm so grateful for. Like
Where in Canada were you DJing?
Vancouver.
Yeah.
Which
What's the scene like in Canada?
Mad, like hip hop heavy. And like I loved that. Do you know what I mean? And they were playing music that I hadn't heard yet.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So that was proper dope. Like I loved that. So yeah, anything like that really. Like, but then do you know what? I love just my usual residencies. Like I love being able to just go and play music. Like any opportunity that I have to do that, like I'm just so grateful for.
So do you not get bored of staying at the same residency or not?
But I'm quite lucky because, like I said before, like we've got like a group down here, and we all kind of alternate what venue we're playing at. So we kind of switch it up so that we don't get bored. Because like you can get bored doing week in, week out at the same place. So we're all kind of doing like the same venues, but like on a rota.
Yeah.
Which is quite cool. Like it stops you from getting bored. Defo.
How do you become one of the greatest DJs?
That is a good question. I reckon I wouldn't know because I'm not the greatest DJ, but I reckon make sure you know your music, like because if you don't know your music, it comes across when you're DJing. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
And also practice and put in the hours. Like there's no other way to perfect your skill other than practice. And if you can't be bothered to put those hours in, then there's no point. Do you know what I mean? Like it takes hours, like, and it's repetitive and it can get a bit like boring after a while. But the more you practice, the more you're gonna get like instant. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So I asked Carmen this question, which was, do you think there's not enough female DJs in the clubbing scene? Because personally, in my opinion, I don't think there is. I don't know how it is in Bristol, but in London, definitely. So yeah, what's your opinion on that?
In Bristol, definitely not. Like I only know of 3 of us in Bristol. Although saying that, do you know what? There's so many dope female DJs in the UK, but people just don't know about them. Like, and I wish we could all get together and like showcase all of these sick DJs. So actually, there's a really cool event that Red Bull put on.
Yeah.
Called Normal Novelty. So it's an event for female DJs.
Okay.
And the first time I went to it, there was like 200 female DJs in there, and I was like, "What?" Like I was baffled. Like I didn't know there was that
like
many.
where was the 200 come from?
Like I was like, "This is mad," and like they have like Tiffany Calver go in and do DJ workshops and stuff, and I think it's just like there's definitely more female DJs like that are out there, but people like it's about finding them. Do you know what I mean? And like if you're not looking in the right place, they might not get as much like attention or as many bookings and stuff like that as male DJs. So
that's literally what it is. Like if you're not in the clubbing scene, you're not gonna get as known as if you're just doing the rooftop bars or if you're doing the top shop or whatever. Like, and realistically in top shop, if you're doing that, you ain't gonna get the same following as if you're doing clubbing. That's it. That's just the harsh reality of it.
And do you know what? That is a harsh reality because, like, for me, when I got booked to DJ in Top Shop, I was buzzing. I was like, yes, I'm gonna go. I get to play in like one of my favorite shops. But actually, like, you don't get the kind of engagement from people and
like people do come up to you and be like, oh, you're really sick or whatever. But it's like you don't. I don't know what it is. It's just like you don't. There's no one coming. There's not really anyone going there who is big in that sense.
Yeah, fully. And I think like it's like when you're getting booked in clubs and stuff, you're obviously playing sometimes with other big DJs.
Yeah.
And then if they see you and think, oh, she's sick, like they might give you more opportunities and things like that. So that definitely gets you like a better response, I think, as a DJ. But yeah, I don't know if there's as many females as there could be. But
I think it's definitely got better over the last couple of years.
100%. Like 5 years ago, I reckon we'd be sitting here having a completely
Like
different
Snoochie
conversation.
Shy was just coming up in the last 2-3 years. So like, yeah, without her kind of breaking through, a lot of females couldn't really do the same, to be honest. I think she's kind of paved the way for a lot of females, like Soraya as well. She's definitely paved the way.
Yeah, definitely. And like, do you know what's mad? Is I only came across Soraya like a few months ago, which is mad because she's like killing it.
Yeah.
But I think like they're also like, what I love about like the female DJs is everyone supports each other. There's none of that kind of rivalry or.
I was gonna ask that as well. Do you get rivalry with that?
Do you know what? Like all the female DJs that I've come across have been so supportive. Like I've got like a group WhatsApp with some of the girls from London that are like sick, and if anything comes up, they'll always message and be like, "Who wants to do this? Like, put your name forward for this," or things like that. And I think like every female DJ I've come across has been the same. Like there's not that kind of sense of jealousy. Everyone just wants to support each other to get where they want to be. Like, and that's what I love about it, is like I could go and talk to any of my female DJ friends and they would support anything that all of us do. Like they're sharing each other's posts, they're sharing mixes, like you don't even have to ask them to do that, and we're all doing it for each other. So I think that's like, I think that part of being a female DJ is proper dope. Like
you say this as well, like it's during this period is actually a lot more male DJs as well doing that more often now, because they're kind of opening their eyes up and being like, you know what, we need to not expand the circle, but just like look at other people. So during this period, everyone's well, for me, a lot of people helped me. I don't know about other DJs, but before quarantine, I would not really get the same help that I'm getting now from female DJs, from male DJs as well. It's just, yeah, it's been good.
And do you know what? I feel like this lockdown period has like made people more like grateful for the opportunities and stuff, and want to give them to other people, like, and help everyone to get through this. So I think it's kind of made everyone feel a bit more like united rather than all this like rivalry and jealousy and things like that. Like I think it's almost helped in that sense. But obviously you haven't got like the bookings to compete for or whatever at the moment. So I don't know.
What's been the best club you've DJ'd at?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Do you know what's really bad is I love Sin City in Ibiza. Have you ever been there?
No, I haven't been there. I haven't been to Ibiza. I want to do that.
No way, you've got to go there.
Ibiza.
Oh my god.
So those are the two kind of aims for me, is Marbella and Ibiza. Those are the two places.
You could do that easy. Like easy. So I played in Marbella at Sisu.
Yeah.
Which is like it's like a pool party. That is sick. Like the atmosphere there is mad.
Yeah, I always want to do Sisu, Mirage, and all of the places down there.
Like playing there is sick. I played in Sin City, like I said, which is literally like a London club put in the strip in San Antonio and Ibiza. Like it's not one of these housey massive clubs or anything like that, but the vibe in there is like the best place I've ever played at. Like it is sick. And
it's funny you say this, because a lot of DJs say Ibiza and Marbella are the two best places to DJ. Like, why is that for you? Why is it?
I don't know. I just think like everyone's on holiday, having a good time. Like the vibe's nice. Like I've never seen any like fights or anything. It's just like everyone's there to have like a good time. Do you know what I mean? And like I just love that. And like in Sin City, you can get away with playing anything. Like it doesn't matter what you're playing, people just go off in there. Like it is mad. So I love playing there. But even like when I played in Box Park in Croydon, like the vibe in there is sick. Do you know what I think? Is like I love playing in different clubs with like different vibes and stuff, because you just get that kind of difference in the people and stuff like that. So yeah.
How was Box Park? Because I'm looking to DJ there after. We'll see what J Knox is saying. But how is it in Box Park for you?
It was good. Yeah, it was good. I used to do, I think it was the last Friday of every month.
Yeah.
And I used to drive up, DJ, and then drive back again.
That's a long drive, Croydon to Bristol.
Yeah, trust me, it was like 2.5 hours, I think. But it was sick. Like, I really enjoyed it. And I think the difference is, like, sometimes the music I can play down here, people wouldn't really know as much as in London. So it gives me a chance to play like the music that I love, whereas maybe down here I have to play a bit more to like the students and like the more like well-known commercial urban music. So I used to love just being able to play like the stuff that I loved because everyone else loved it.
Do you think clubbing's dying out? And do you think that the reason why it's like all these events are coming up is to help the clubs? Because if the clubbing was just on its own, would you think it would survive?
I don't know, because I think like there's always going to be a clubbing scene with like students and things like that.
Yeah.
Like because students love going out drinking, they love having a party. Down here, there's a massive underground scene, so it's more like raves. So like in Bristol, the main events are like raves rather than clubs.
Yeah.
So I think down here, like it is quite difficult to keep the clubs like hyped and busy and stuff like that because the rave scene is so much bigger. So I guess it depends what area you're in. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm assuming like the clubs in London are probably different.
Well, London, you've got the West End, and then you got London. It's like you got two different areas basically.
Is the West End like the posh area?
West End is just it's posh, but it's just like this. It's just the bougie kind of place, like bottle spends.
Rah,
you know, like you gotta have money. It's the footballers, Arabs, Russians, like that kind of part.
Yeah, see, that to me is like another world because down like you don't obviously you get bottles and that down here, but not to the same level. Like all you get here is like people going to a rave for like 10 hours at a time with their sunglasses on. Like so, like it is really different down here, and I think the clubs down here do struggle.
But they probably struggle, but then it makes it easier for other DJs to like the up and coming DJs to find gigs because they're probably always on the lookout for people all the time.
Yeah, definitely. And like I think there's like a nicer DJ community almost, like because it's not such a big area.
Do you ever get worried about your residencies?
I personally don't, because obviously I'm lucky in the sense that I've got my job.
Yeah.
So I'm not one of these people that DJs for the money. Like I'm DJing because I love it, and like it's like my passion. And I've always wanted to, if I can, keep it that way. But I think like I completely understand like if DJing is their only job and they need that income, then I can see why people would feel like threatened and they want to keep their residencies and stuff, because why wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? It's like someone coming into my job and being like, oh, I'm kicking you out now. Like, that's tough. Like, not having that security is tough.
Yeah, like, of course, definitely.
And I think if I didn't have my job, then I'd probably see it in a different light. But thankfully, obviously, I've got my other job, even though I'm having to like bust a gut to do both.
So how are you like hosting your sets? Would you rather have a host or are you good on the mic?
Do you know what? I'm petrified of using the mic. Like,
okay. You've got to make the mic your best friend now.
I know. Well, I'm getting better. Like my thing in lockdown is learning how to use the mic better.
Yeah.
So like when I'm doing my lives and stuff, I am actually using it, and I felt a lot more confident than when I've been in clubs.
Mm.
So hopefully, like when I get back to going in a club, whenever that might be, I'll feel more confident then. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it's given me that chance to like practice. Whereas before I didn't have time. Like, I was working Monday to Friday, finishing work on a Friday, going to DJ, sleeping, getting up, going to DJ on the Saturday, sleeping all day Sunday, then going back to work on Monday. Like, I didn't really have the time to put...
No rest.
Yeah, but I needed time to like build my confidence, practice on the mic and stuff like that. I do play better, I think, when I'm like hyped up though. So hopefully it will be I'll be able to do that.
So
like,
what's your take on like the music scene? Because obviously, you know, there's artists dropping songs left, right, and center every day or every week, and we've got a lot of albums that just dropped this week and everything. But coming out of quarantine, these albums are gonna be like 5 months old by the time the clubs get back. So how do you know, like, how would you play these songs? Like, do you know what to play? Or are you gonna stick it safe and go back to like how you used to play with the 2019 songs and all the old school tracks and stuff like that?
I hadn't even thought about that, but I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. Like nearer the time, I like experimenting in the club. Like if it doesn't go down, if it doesn't go down well, then I'll just switch it back up, and play some like older stuff that people know. But I think it's cool to be able to like experiment and like introduce people to music they don't know.
Yeah.
Because you can always guarantee that a song will come out, you'll drop it, people will stand there like looking at you with a blank face, like what is that? And then the next week you'll go back and play the same song, and they'll all be buzzing. Like so. I think,
you gotta just kind of implement kind of these songs in your set and just see if it works, and if it doesn't.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. Because I think otherwise, like, you're just waiting for it to become popular.
Mm.
And then
well, it'll be weird though to see, because obviously we ain't tested this out in clubs. So like, yeah, it's popping, but like, does it actually pop in the club? No one knows.
Literally, and like, yeah, it'll be good though to like experiment with different transitions and stuff like that in the club.
Yeah.
To see how it works and see how people react. Like, I'm looking forward to doing that, to be fair.
So during this period, I know like you've been working, but have you learned anything in terms of the DJ side of things, and in terms of just in general?
I've learned to use the mic, kind of. Not very well yet, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
And I'm actually renovating a house.
Okay.
So obviously, I bought my house, but I'm renovating it.
Yeah.
And so I'm learning how to renovate a house.
Okay.
Like building banisters and all sorts. Which
You're running a little IKEA store.
Yeah. I'm looking like...
If I want my wardrobe done, I'm going to holler you.
Yeah, literally. Well, do you know what? Like, it's a 3-bedroom house, and like all the other rooms have been pulled apart, apart from my DJ room. Like the DJ room is plastered, painted, ready to go. Like,
so you just concentrate on that room.
Yeah, literally. Like, so, but I'm trying to build like a built-in DJ kind of booth in the room. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that at the minute. So I'll get back to you on that one. Because basically at the moment I've just got like a table with my setup on it, and it's not very sturdy. So like when you're practicing scratching and stuff like that, it like moves, and it's not ideal. So I want something like more sturdy, but then I want it to look cool. Do you know what I mean?
So the question is, because when we come out of quarantine and the clubs are opening up, not many people are going to be doing live sets, Instagram live sets. So do you still want to have a really good setup at home, like a nice setup, and spend the money on that, or just leave it as it kind of is? Obviously get a bit nicer table or whatever and keep it like that, because obviously you ain't going to be using that often.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm quite lucky in the sense that like I bought my setup not long ago, so it's still like a nice setup.
Yeah.
And I've got like my vinyl deck and then my CDJs on my S9, so I'm quite lucky in that sense, because like I like playing around on stuff at home as well. And do you know what? Like, I wouldn't mind carry on doing the odd life set. Like, I quite enjoy it.
You know what?
And I
Same.
think,
I'm actually enjoying it, to be honest.
yeah, like have a little drink, have a little
Yeah.
jam. Like, I'm actually enjoying it. So I think I might carry on with them. Like not all the time, but maybe like the odd one or two. Because I think like it's another way of promoting as well, isn't it?
Mm.
Like, so why
Yeah,
not?
like
Like,
if you've got a Saturday night off or something, or Saturday during the
yeah.
day, just,
Yeah,
just
like
jam on it.
especially in the summer, like during the day, like get the tunes going.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, definitely.
people will enjoy that, I reckon. So
I think, well, the day party scene is gonna be a big thing. If,
definitely.
like, hopefully something's open, like the bars will open hopefully quicker than the club, sorry. Then,
Yeah.
so those day kind of things will be good.
And like outdoor spaces like rooftop bars and stuff, like you'd hope that they would like open them up.
Yeah.
And then at least we can do something like that.
I don't know if they will, but we'll see. We'll see. You know what?
I'm like
How was it like in
praying.
Bristol? Because in London, apparently there weren't any COVID cases, apparently. So what's it like in Bristol?
What, like in general?
Yeah, no, in terms of like the whole COVID situation, like, is it bad? Is it good? Do you think
Do you know what? Like, it sounds really awful, but I've tried to like avoid
what the
watching
news?
too much news about it
Mm,
because I found myself like watching it every day, like, and it was like consuming me, and it was so much negativity all the
yeah.
time, and it was just like all I need to know really is like what I need to know about the lockdown, and
Mm,
then and that sounds awful, but like I'm trying to stay positive throughout all of this, and I
yeah.
think if you can limit the amount of negative stuff that you're seeing and hearing and stuff, then it's going to help. I don't think it's that bad. Like when you look on the graphs and stuff, I think the southwest is like at the bottom.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that bad. They built a Nightingale hospital here, but I don't
Well,
even know if it's been used.
they just wasted the one they built at the XL. Like it
Yeah,
was like
I don't
2% full, like something like that. It's some rubbish.
I don't even think this one's been used. Like
It's just
I might be
I don't
wrong.
understand. I just don't understand. But that's the thing. This is why I kind of stopped looking at the news because it just kind of annoyed me. I was just like, what are we doing? Like
Bullying
every time I'm
and like
seeing, oh, Boris just saying rubbish, basically.
I'm fully like I think what gets me is like the thing like seeing that people can go to schools and things like that.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
agree
can't
with that. I don't agree with that.
like no, and then I can't go and see my family. Like I think that like and a lot of people are getting quite like
I think everyone's fed up
agitated.
though because like
Yeah,
3 months without, let's say if you live on your own and you can't even see your mum or boyfriend or husband or whoever
trust
it
me.
is, like, everyone's gonna get agitated. And like I feel for the people who've got exams like next year, stuff like that, because like
Fully, man.
some of my friends, even my sister, like exams and stuff, like it's mad.
And like they're missing out on what like 3 4 months of education. Like
And then
I
to go
know we
back to
all
school or go back to uni after that, it's long.
it's mad. Like and expecting people to be motivated working at home and stuff like that's a myth.
To just
Like
get up is
I'm
painful anyway.
do you know what I mean?
To get up is
Like
painful. I can't be doing that.
I'm having to get up for work every morning and come downstairs, switch my laptop on and work from home. And I'm
Yeah.
telling you, like my motivation levels to get up in the morning are like next to nothing. Because it's hard. Like if you get up in the morning and have a routine, like you get up, you go to uni, you get up,
Yeah.
you go to work. Like you've got that routine and you've got a reason, but getting up to come to your living room, no, it's not
Yeah,
happening.
no. I think we're all in the same mindset. Like when the sun's out,
Literally,
I don't think anyone really wants to do any work. I think everyone's, you know what? I don't even think anyone wants to go back to work. Like they
trust
want the
me.
money, but they don't want to go back to work. Like I
Do you
don't
know
think
what?
anyone's ready.
Literally, I've been trying to work outside, like have my laptop. I
Yeah.
can't see. Like it's so sunny out there, so I'm there like I'm like nah, I'm
I don't know
hating
how you
all
come.
of
I'd have to be in the dark because then I'll get too I just get too just excited that the sun's
jealous.
out. Jealous, excited that everyone's out. Seeing people's
Honestly,
stories that they're just chilling outside in their garden. I'm like, oh.
I honestly get so like I actually get angry about the fact I still have to work when it's this hot,
Yeah.
and there's people that have been furloughed and are like getting the best tans ever. I'm like, why can't I be getting a tan?
Pale souls.
Fuming, mate. Fuming.
Anyway, to kind of finish up, where do you kind of see yourself in the next 5 years? What do you want to achieve?
Wow, what a question. I think just carrying on what I'm doing, like getting those different bookings. Do you know what I mean? Like not the same stuff all the time, and just getting my name out there. Like carrying on enjoying DJing. I always said like the minute I stop enjoying it,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it, because like there's no point if you don't love it. Then DJing's a hard graft.
The thing is, it's like it's one of those industries that if you fall off, you fall off. Basically, like you got to keep it consistent. Like I know people who took out years out, and then it's taken them so long to even get back in. Like I took
Yeah,
out a
trust
year,
me.
and it's taken me 2 years to now to get back in. And I took out a year because of exams, and then it's taken
Yeah,
me 2 years to get back into it.
it's mad. Like it is mad. But I think I just want to be consistent, get some more festival bookings. Like I'd love to play at like some bigger festivals.
Yeah.
And maybe like look at the radio side of things. I'm not too sure at the moment. I'm just kind of seeing how things play out.
Mm.
Yeah, like I think the main thing for me is just carrying on like doing my international bookings and festivals and radio,
Yeah.
because they're the main things that I set out to do. So as long as I can keep doing that, then I'll be happy.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Basically.
What's kind of your first step after when the club's open? What's your first kind of move you're doing?
Well, hopefully getting asked to go back to the clubs, but who knows? They might not want me.
Do you want to kind of switch your residencies up and switch everything up after this period, or do you want to go back to the same?
I don't know. Like I do the residencies I was playing at, like I loved.
Yeah.
So I would want to go back to them. But also like new events, like put my own event on would be sick. I really want to be able to like showcase more female DJs.
Yeah.
And like book them to come and play at events and stuff, because I think, and not even necessarily female DJs, you know, but more like up and coming DJs, like that aren't getting the recognition that they should be. Like I'd love to be able to help people out like that. If I was in a position to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't really consider myself at the moment that in that kind of position, in the sense that I could get the massive bookings. But even if I could get someone like a booking, then I'd be happy, I think.
But anyway, thank you for this. It's been good. It's been a good chat and discussion.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
No worries. And like, yeah, hopefully we keep in touch, and I'll definitely, if I can come to Bristol, that'd be good. Or if you come London,
Yeah,
that'd be
for
good. Yeah,
sure.
we'll definitely link up.
That'd be dope.
Yeah.
Cool.
Take care and enjoy work.
Cheers.
See you. Thank you everyone joined in. See you.
See ya.